Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark. And in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Christopher Ray Patton.
Back today was side 2 of Stankonia. And we did side 1, as you kids know, if you listened to the previous episode. Then you got the full, unfiltered opinions from yours truly and Chris Patton here today, who is in Atlanta, so had an amazing amount of knowledge that he dropped on us, which was effing great. And I think that first episode went really well. We're covering the rest of the album here today, folks. And as we said, we split it up into sides, side 1, side 2. And really we did that because, we just didn't want to have to rush the entire album into one show. And also there's 24 even number of tracks. So it just worked out. So let's get into it. Stankonia is the 4th studio album by the American hip-hop duo Outkast, released on October 31st, 2000. Yes, it's been that long. By LaFace Records and Arista Records. The album was recorded in the duo's recently purchased Atlanta recording facility, Stankonia Studios, which allowed for fewer time and recording constraints and featured a production work from Earth Tone 3, a production team consisting of Outkast and Mr. DJ, and longtime collaborators Organized Noise. As we said, this album was released in 2000. Insane that it's been that long. And this album did some good business, kids. And just in case you don't know and you'd like a little bit of trivia here, this album has gone platinum 5 times. Sold over 5 million copies. Legendary, buddy, you better believe it. By one of the best hip-hop duos of all time. And that is your lowdown on Stankonia. But Chris, off mic, we were talking about, we kind of gave away the farm on the first one because all the hits, I would submit all the songs that the band are generally known for, maybe from a mainstream perspective, was on that first episode. And now we've got tracks 12 through 24. Before we get to those, though, what about those first 12 tracks, man? I mean, just awesome stuff from this band, right?
This album is continuously played on my Spotify now because I've listened to it and I'm too lazy to stop listening to it. Yeah. So I've listened to the full album like 3 or 4 times. But yes, if we're doing it like as an album, this would be what side A, side B of vinyl 1 up to the, let's say 12th track, because you would think 13th is a interlude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this side is way better, but the rest of the album is really good as well. It is just very different. It is a more of a throwback to earlier Outkast, some deeper cuts, good cuts, but deeper cuts. No, nothing that really stands out as something that would be like a radio hit.
Yeah, there's no Miss Jackson on the rest of these tracks here, buddy. I don't think. But yeah, by the way, speaking of the first 12 that we did, I want to get my numbers right, as you said. Speaking of the first 12, dude, imagine if that had just been the album. Like, that's a hit album, man. That's a number 1 record right there. Like, just the first 12 tracks. But, of course, they went above and beyond. Man, crazy. And we may have talked about this in the other episode, dude, about how rap acts will, have guest stars and they'll have multiple tracks and they'll have interludes. Do you have an opinion on the huge rap albums with like 20 plus tracks? And I don't want to call the interludes filler because I think that like on X's albums, they can be entertaining or whatever. They're entertaining on here too. But, do you have an opinion on that? Do you just say the more the merrier? Do you think at times, depending on the act, it's a little bit too much?
So, I mean, with this album, the fact that they fit this on one disc is kind of crazy, but it does lead into Spirit Box and the Love Below of like, hey, we need 2 albums, right? Or two discs. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of other bands that had 2 discs before this, like Life After Death with Biggie, right? Like in the rap industry, if you're going that way, Like there's not that many. And like even in the rock side of things, there weren't a ton. Like you get Melancholy and the Infinite Dream. As far as like big mainstream albums, I'm sure that there's, Pink Floyd released a 4-disc set of the same song 70 times on the same album.
White album, double album.
But yeah, like as far as the CD goes, the
Yeah.
interludes, I mean, that was the thing at the time. That's the joke setting up the song a lot of times. I don't know. That was big in Atlanta because another album that came out the same year that we talked about previously on the last show, Ludacris Back for the First Time, I think has 2 interludes on it, and I think it only had, if I remember right, I don't have the track list in front of me, only had like 12 or 13 songs on that album.
Mm-hmm.
So that just kind of gives you a good idea of what rap was doing at the time. Because this same year, same city, you know what I mean? Like you get a good idea. Is like a lot of people are doing those.
Yeah, it kind of feels like when it works for one, others just kind of follow suit, and it just becomes, dude, if nothing else, these albums, these big albums with all these tracks and the interludes and everything, it kind of feels more like an event than it does a record album, doesn't it? You know what I mean? There's more of it's ambiance is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? It just feels like it's more of an event, like it's a listening party kind of vibe where there's a lot of other stuff kind of thrown into it.
For sure. And we did talk about this on the last show of, instead of just taking the money and buying studio time, they bought a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the bands, they're able to do whatever they want. So a lot of this, while if you're doing this in a studio, you're paying time, you're mastering the tracks down differently. Maybe the songs that we already talked about would be the songs. Maybe some 1 or 2 here, but like you could put that album out and it would be fine. But at the same time, the whole reason that they bought a studio is to have as much recording time as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So them having, I think, fully released, right? Because they've changed this album over the years, is like 26 tracks.
Yeah, 24 on this. Yeah, no, I get you. God, it's big. By the way, this album runs an hour and 13 minutes.
Yeah, which is it's just not crazy. That's not crazy though, right?
No.
Like
you could almost watch a movie in that time.
Let's see how big Life After Death was, because that's the comparison I think of when I think of like a double album.
Yeah, that's pretty big. As we said in the last episode, kids, we did Speaker Box and Love Below here on the 6M, and we split that one up for sure because again, we didn't wanted to be sure we did justice to that. So
it's 120. So that's a solid minute. Yeah. The censored version, however, is 60 minutes.
I was going to say, censored version is 32 minutes. You know what
I mean? The original release is 1 hour and 49 minutes, according to Apple Music. So I'm getting some various times here, but 26 tracks. We're talking, what'd you say, an hour and 13. Hour and 13. That's pretty good. That's right up there with us doing a watch along of Point Break.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, you've got me curious now. Now I got to find out. So let's see on on Apple Music 2014 remastered. Yeah, 1 hour 49. Yeah, you got it. Jeez.
Which a remastered is going to include some other things that were cut out of the album. So I think the first number I gave of 120 with 59 being the censored version, which probably takes out some various things from that album. I think there's some interludes on that album as well, if I remember right. It's been a long time since I listened to Life After Death all the way through.
Man, just get P. Diddy and R. Kelly off this album now, buddy. Jeez.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's well, Puff Daddy's on every hit song on that album because, as you know, Suge Knight would say, come over to Death Row, where the producer doesn't have to be on every one of your hit songs.
It's a trade-off with the Death Row, right? Because Suge talking about, you don't have to worry about me on your albums, but at the same time, I'm going to hang upside down off the balcony by your ankles. Yeah, that's not awesome.
Vanilla Ice seems like the kind of guy that deserves to be hung upside down.
Hey, look, I didn't want to say that. I don't know the guy. But yikes.
Also, right back to Outkast. South got something to say. Same year.
Right.
Of no, I'm kidding, but yeah, no, I mean, but that like how 24 songs on that album is what I was getting at, right? So we get 26 here, tighter, more interludes, but the interludes, some of the interludes are only like 30 seconds.
Sure.
So
Yeah. By the way, kids, if you're expecting a 6M on Vanilla Ice's first album, you're probably gonna be waiting a long time. I'm just throwing it out there.
You have to wait until he does Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, which will inevitably break into me talking about Vanilla Ice.
Ninja rap. Terrible. Hey, look, I had his CD. I totally had his CD because the only thing I knew at the time was the song that everybody knew at the time. And as a teenager, I liked it. So I bought the CD. And then you got this brooding white boy on the cover. And then I had a subscription to Rolling Stone. You know, you remember, I guess the magazine's still that big, if it's even still existing today besides the website. I guess it is. But they covered him in the Rolling Stone. And I read it. And I'm like, they revealed a lot of stuff. Like, wait a minute. This guy's not actually a thug. He's not actually a bad boy. They just tell him not to smile in public. And his real name is Robert Van Winkle. And he's kind of from a privileged background. And I'm like, wow, this kind of sucks, huh? So yeah, anyway, didn't mean to make this a Vanilla Ice podcast today.
I have a funny story about that. When I was a kid, I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. One thing I really love about that movie is Was Not has a song called Walk the Dinosaur, or Everybody Walk the Dinosaur.
Yes.
And I remember begging my mom inside of a Winn-Dixie's to buy me the tape for Everybody Walk the Dinosaur.
Wow.
I feel like that's the same effect as the Go Ninja Go.
Yeah, probably so.
But yeah, Everybody Walk the Dinosaur, way better song. Way better song.
I mean, the fact they put him in the movie on stage rapping. I mean, what are we doing? It's like putting RoboCop in WCW. What are we doing here? What is this?
You know? Hey, he saved Sting.
Well,
there's no way Sting could have gotten out of that shark cage without RoboCop.
Didn't save my eyes from having to see it, I'll tell you. Well, kids, let's tackle this the second side, last 12 or so tracks here. Track number 13 is an interlude. As we said, there's several of those on here. Track 14 at 4 minutes and 10 seconds. No, it's not politically correct, but I'm going to say this anyway, so everybody just buckle up. This song is We Love D's Hoes, featuring Backbone and Big Gip, I'm guessing. So this probably shouldn't like this song because of what they're saying, but this song is insanely fun. It's got a great hook to it, man. And this is one of the few Outkast songs not to feature Andre 3000, and one of the few pre-2003 Outkast tracks where Big Boy performs the hook. So it's a little different. What do you think about this one?
I love this song. It's so fun. This Southern bounce that they talk about with Big Boy. Big Boy's hook on this is great. This is also coming out, you know, you got I Don't Want No Scrubs and songs like that coming out. I think this is kind of a response to that.
Ooh, interesting.
To some extent. And it's talking about loving all the effort that women go through to be beautiful. While calling them hoes, so take it for what it is. But yeah, you know, like the line from the weaves to the fake eyes, to the fake nails, down to the toes. Ha 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 ha. We love these hoes. It is what it is. It is a song of its time period. It is one that I have not heard of them playing live. They did not play it live when I saw them. It's unfortunate because it is a great Big Boy hook for sure.
Some of these lyrics I'm not going to read, but yeah, as we, you know, that what was the one snapping and trapping? We didn't read some of those lyrics. I'm just saying, but yeah, there's references to dumping cocaine. There's Herman Munster, a Coupe de Ville. Yeah, well, Cheesecake Factory reference here. Oh,
This
that's
is Big
good.
Boy just going absolutely wild. He's like,
Yeah.
that hoe named Betty Big Shoes. She wore them Herman Monster heels.
Yeah.
Popped a pill. Now she's in the back of your Coupe de Ville.
Oh wow, yeah. I'm not reading the next one, or the next one, or the next one, yeah. See, there's like multiple because we try to keep it PG. I'm not reading any of that stuff.
So no Ray me.
Oh my, there's not. Yeah, the more you read, you're like, yep, none of these are going to be read today.
You don't want to put on the pocket. I'm telling the truth. You're sucking your tooth.
And you know what? That's like pretty tame compared to the rest of it.
You're treating her like a star, boy.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Lemonade and popcorn, strawberry lemonade and popcorn shrimps. That's fun.
Oh, this is probably the best song we're gonna listen to for the rest of the album. Not that there's not good songs on the rest of the album, but by far the best track. Not politically correct in 2025, but in 2000 standards, this is a great song.
You know, and not for nothing, but rap still does this. There's still rap that's, you know, foul mouthed, and I'll use the word offensive. Not that anyone's offending me personally, but there's plenty of it still out there. There's plenty of it before. There was plenty of it before rap was even a thing. Music that, you know, is highly suggestive lyrics and saying things like, dude, this stuff's never really going away. And honestly, dude, I don't have any interest in censoring anybody. You know what I mean? I don't want to get, I'm not trying to platform here or anything, but there's just too much of that crap happening as it is. Like, dude, if you don't like it, don't buy it, don't listen to it, right?
Well, yeah, like at some point you're trying to gentrify rap music, right? Like depending on how deep you go into it, because it's supposed to have a cultural influence. It's talking about experiences that aren't your own. So you and I cannot really have hard opinions on some of these lines. You know, I don't know what it's like being in a trap pregnancy relationship, which the first verse of this talks about.
Right.
So yeah, he's like, you should have. Yeah, well, I can't even say that line on this podcast, but it talks about pulling something out and eyelashes instead of what the person did.
Right.
We'll go with that. But it is the song is actually deeper than the chorus. So if you listen to it, it's talking about getting tied up in some relationships that you probably shouldn't have been in, but the woman had put on such a false persona and beautiful looks that you kind of fell in love with a I don't know, a witchy woman. We're doing Eagles next. Witchy woman.
I like the way you put that. Yeah. I was thinking of a Heart song too. What was I thinking? It's not Barracuda. Didn't they do a song? Magic. I was thinking Magic Man. I don't know why I was thinking Magic Man.
This is just not Heart, right? Isn't that Fleetwood Mac?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a sarcastic pimping song, to say the least. But yeah, and you know, it's not the longest track on the album, but at 4 minutes 10 seconds, man, like 3 full verses of holy Lord. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, it's at like 65 beats per minute. Though, to be fair, like the entire beat is.
Yeah, that's
like the chorus is like from the weaves down to, you know, like. It's a slower song.
It is a slower song, yeah.
But I mean, it has that. I love things with that groove. It has like a great groove to it. It's a great groove, and that's what people call the big boy Southern bounce. It's definitely very prevalent here.
Yeah. Let's see, track 15, kids. This is Humble Mumble with Erykah Badu. This is 4 minutes and 50 seconds. This is the second longest track on the album. Bombs Over Baghdad at 5 minutes 4 on side 1 is the longest.
Which, to be fair, half of Bombs Over Baghdad is just guitar and synthesizer wailing.
Sure. Yeah, this is another song that has a distinction. This song is one of the few select where 3 Stacks performs with Erykah Badu, and it deals with themes like continuing to work hard in the face of adversity, making something of your life, and spreading socially conscious messages through sensationalized raps. So I'm not crazy about this, if I'm being honest. This to me always felt like, Andre sort of doing experimental may not be the right word, but doing something sort of out of the norm and sort of exploring, you know what I mean? Sounds or whatnot. That's kind of what I've always heard this song to be. Does this one work for you? Do you ever skip this one, or are you a fan of it?
I mean, I listened to it because I'm a fan of this entire album. But if you were gonna skip a track, I wouldn't blame you for skipping this one. But then you wouldn't know. I stink. I can't. I stink. I can't. I stink. I can't.
That's true.
Which is the funky engine that could, Tom.
Yeah.
All aboard the Stankonia Express. The intro is great. Great
It
to the
is.
song. The instrumentation and what they did with the beat and track is pretty cool. It's a lot of Andre.
It is. And Big Boy Stuff sounds really good on here.
It does. This goes into what you would end up hearing on like Idlewild, right? It's one of those tracks that kind of floats over into that, which is not. Also, there are some reused lines in here. Like Trials and Tribulations has been used by them before. Humble as a Mumble has been used by them before. But that's now we're deep diving. You have to remember lines from like every like Outkast album. But yeah, it is very, very different than the rest of the album, but not necessarily in a bad way.
Yeah, it's very different. He even quotes scripture here.
Andre has a great line. He's like, "Yeah, it's too democratic republic. F it. We're chicken nuggets. We dip it in the sauce like a mop and bucket." It just,
yeah.
If you want to do a deep dive on what that means, that'll be there's great lines in this song. I don't know. This is not Bombs Over Baghdad, but it's a pretty good track.
Blue collar scholars who'll take your dollar and wipe my A with it. You living for the lotto, never hit it. Yeah.
It's funny you said you're living for the lotto and never hit it, because I yell every time I go into the gas station to buy like a soda or something, or beer or whatever, and then there's like 14 people lined up doing lotto tickets. I'm like, oh man, they're investing in the future.
Well, look, here's what I say about that lotto that you're making fun of. Someone's going to win it. And
so you invest in the future a lot.
I haven't played in forever, but I used to do, there's what, three draws a week. I used to do 3 draws a week, and I only spent $2 a pop. I never went nuts. I just did one, whatever $2 gets you, 3 lines of numbers, whatever.
Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's main event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com.
I've always said, like, there's probably a line in a 7-Eleven somewhere where there's a dude at the back of the line going, "Oh, God, come on." But one of those people in that line could win it all. And I'm sure it's happened. But, like, it never seems to be me, Chris. That's the problem.
So yeah, for sure. my gas station has all of the winning lotto tickets posted on the bulletproof glasses. So you get to see all the people that won before you, which is great. It inspires you to invest in the future.
Of course.
But there's some great Andre lines here that goes more down the path of him being the intellectual rapper, which a lot of people like. I guess is why a lot of people like Big Boy. Like, you can't discriminate hate because you done read a book or two. What if I looked at you in a microscope and saw all the dirty organisms living in your closet? Would I stop and would I pause it? That's the kind of stuff that they like about Andre's rap, or most people like about Andre's rap. Me, I'm just like, it doesn't flow that great.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that Big Boy Southern balance. But it's, he's got great lines in here. But it is leading into what you're talking about, where there's more of a separation of the band. And Andre recently, on his birthday, he just had a birthday, by the way, after we did the last show. said, "I'm not done with rap, but there's nothing in rap that currently interests me. So making a new rap album kind of sounds off the table, even with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame looming."
I mean, I can't fault the guy. I mean, I'd love to hear more stuff from him. If it's not going to be Outkast, I'd love to hear him actually doing something. But it's kind of like what's like the Watchmen on Max. I don't know if you went down that rabbit hole, but we covered that here on the show. Great series, but like Damon Lindelof was asked, "What about a season 2?" And he's like, "I don't have a season 2. I don't have any more story to tell. Like, if we come up with a story, maybe then. But right now, I don't have anything." So I kind of feel like that's what he's saying. Like, look, I love rap still, but yeah, there's nothing out here I care to do. And Chris, honestly, if he doesn't have anything to say, if he just puts out an album to be doing it, it'd be a cash grab, which would be fine. That's his prerogative. But maybe it wouldn't be saying anything after all.
I think the way that he placed it was that he's so disinterested in all the other rap that's coming out that he doesn't want to do a rap album, which I would point to the fact that Outkast has always been different, and now you have even more of a reason to do a rap album, right? Like you can take back the game, so to speak. Do what Outkast does best, like be different than everything else. But yeah, he's doing flute, so
Yeah, yikes.
But I mean, that's fine. Like people seem to really enjoy that. I am not going to listen to a flute album. I'm not going to sit down and listen to 14 tracks of any jazz, really. If I'm being completely honest, this is just not something I'm super into. So
I'm a jazz guy, but I'm not a flute guy.
Not a big Jethro Tull guy.
No. No. What was Lars? Well, Lars said the next year at the Grammys, like, we'd like to thank Jethro Tull for not putting out an album this year.
Well, yeah, they lost like best heavy metal album to Jethro Tull or whatever.
Dude, they weren't even there. They got best metal album and weren't even there. And you could see people in the crowd going, "They won? Like, what is this?"
You got to be pre-metal to go out there, lift one leg, and play flute, brother.
Don't know if I've ever heard anyone say that in my life, but you know what? All right.
You know what I mean? Like, well, like as a personality, like to have that big of a sack, just be like, come on, make fun of me. I don't care.
We're going to win the Grammy. I don't care what you think. Yeah.
I named my band Jethro Tull. That's how much I care.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wow.
Most people have a guitar solo. I got flute solos.
I got flute solo. Yeah.
Flute solos. That'd be even better.
He's the Jimmy Page of the flute. I don't know.
Did you ever watch this? I mean, we're gonna go off on a little tangent here. Did you ever see that Speed of Sound video with like Jack White and Jimmy Page and Edge? And it's like a documentary.
It's cool. I think it's very enlightening. But part of me's thinking, why is Edge here? Like.
Because Edge is like super important to guitar. He changed a lot of like, not necessarily a great guitar player, but like his ability to use the Memory Man so effective, like inspired shoegaze and a bunch of other music. And like, I don't like U2 either. So if you just don't like U2, I understand that.
Yeah.
But the part that when you said that about Jimmy Page, I immediately thought of there's like a 15 to 30-second clip in that video where he's just standing outside of his mansion playing a mandolin for no reason. And that's immediately what I thought of.
That's a fascinating watch, man. If anyone's listening to this, you're a music fan, you need to watch that because it's really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, especially when you get to the end and Edge seems so out of place. Like,
yeah.
And it's not really his fault. He doesn't play that kind of music. Everyone else is kind of rooted in blues, and they all fall back on that. And they're playing the bands hit the weight, and then like Edge is like, I don't know what am I doing here. It's kind of unfair to the Edge, honestly. Like I'm not a big U2 fan, but that was a very unfair situation to put that guy in. It's like they put me in the studio with Taylor Swift and we're like, "Hey, what you got?" I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, what are we doing? That's what it seemed like. He was like, I don't know, I don't know what you're looking for here. But anyways, back on track. I immediately when you said Jimmy Page and then the flute, and I was just thought about him with that little mandolin and his raincoat or whatever he was wearing in that scene.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Is a great tune. I love the tune they did with BB King when Love Comes to Town. That is effing phenomenal. But like, I just wasn't here for a lot of their stuff. Like, I like Bono, okay, but even though the stuff that Bono says I like because I agree with a lot of it. But when you see him in interviews and he's always got the shades and he's talking a certain way, he always kind of comes off as, man, I'm just gonna have to save the planet again. Here I come. I'm just gonna enlighten everybody. And I'm like, you really don't have to do that. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I take it that way, man. He might be a good dude, but for some reason I just
Yeah, I mean he weighs 9 carrigs. That's why.
Yeah.
To reference back to South Park.
Right.
Have you ever wondered why Bono is such a good person, but he always comes off as a pile of crap?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
No, all kidding aside, people like Joshua Tree a lot. I would say that album's not as good as people say it is.
Yeah.
But it's got some songs on it. That's fine. I just felt bad for him because they just
Right.
put him in a no-win situation of like some guitar idols that have a very particular fan base that are not people that necessarily like U2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know the crossover of White Stripes and U2 fans, but I'm going to assume that it's
Narrow.
Yeah.
Very narrow. Oh, hey, this is what I'll tell you. Do you remember when they put that U2 album automatically on Apple? If you had an iPhone, they just automatically put it on your phone.
It killed them. It killed like a lot of. Like, it probably killed that album. Like, honestly, because people were like, "What is this?" Like, even if you like U2, you don't want things automatically loaded to your phone.
Well,
that's too much of like the phone company has so much. Even though they do have so much control over you,
it's
like,
invasive.
Yeah,
right. Or evasive, whatever.
Yeah. Very much like you don't want to wake up and just have something randomly on your phone you didn't put there.
Was like the most Googled term that day was, how do I remove the U2 album from my phone? Because all these people ran to Google and said, all right, I don't want this crap,
I think that could have been any album, though. It just, U2 was the one brave enough to do it, but they would have tried it with other bands as well.
I would, probably so.
It probably would have, I mean, is there a band that would have worked on?
Look, if we're talking universally, I think you could throw AC/DC automatically on people's phones, and I think a good number of people would not delete that.
A new album, though.
Well,
that's the key. Like, if you throw Back in Black on people's phones, they're gonna be like, all right, there you go. It's got them sports songs I like. I've heard Thunderstruck before. But I feel like, they did the guinea pig thing and it did not work.
No.
Do you remember back in the day on old school Windows, you would get like demo tracks? It'd be like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
People forget about that. Like, that was not the first time, but it was the first time it was put directly into your pocket.
Right.
Randomly, without you buying a new thing. Like, because like Windows, you get back in the day, you used to get a bunch of bloatware and stuff, like random audio crap. You just expected it, but I feel like that was very unexpected. People did not like that. Which, to be fair, that album sucks. So,
it's not good.
Yeah, people were right. Is that the one that has a one love, one heart?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't remember.
Album's awful. U2. I don't get it. People out there that love U2, please send me at Chris R. Patton on Twitter, Christopher.R.Patton on Facebook. Please send me some reasons that I should like U2, because like they have a broad appeal, and just as as someone who writes music and plays music, I would love to like figure out why. Like, because they're not for me either, Tom.
Well, look, I can't really describe what they are. I mean, can we? What can we say they are? What style?
From a guitar standpoint, it is very much the Edge's ability to use like really great delay and play like synchronized notes with good trails of delay. So like if you listen to like Sunday Bloody Sunday, like his guitar riff and stuff, it's, you know, he's not playing that many notes, but his ability to play them that cleanly with that delay and that trail sound, like his sound is very important.
Mhm.
But I don't know what that actually means as far as writing a song. That's more like he did one cool guitar thing.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, I've never gotten it either. I can't. Like, I can tell you, like, how I would peg the Beatles sound, the Stones sound, the Zeppelin sound. You know, so many bands and artists through the years. But like, I look at you too, and I'm like, I don't really know what's the background, what's the roots of this band. Like, I can't even. I have no idea. Like, pseudo poppy, softcore, new wave. I don't know what to even call it. Like, I don't know, but they're world famous, man. They're all rich, I assume.
It's a very bad version of the Police.
Very bad. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
They don't have Stuart Copeland as a drummer. That really.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm also not kidding. I mean, I don't know. I'm not. They sung a lot about politics that weren't relevant to America, which kind of makes that band hard to relate to. But a lot of people in America love that band, so I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it. I'm waiting for someone to explain how I don't get it, and then maybe I'll love them one day. Because obviously they're a good band. You don't sell as many albums as you do and not be a good band. So I'm not saying that they're bad, you know, but like at the same time, I don't want to listen to it if I don't.
Didn't they play the big ball in Vegas? Didn't they play there? I think?
Oh yeah, the big Spectrum or whatever, the giant golf ball, their Epcot
ball.
that they have in the middle of the city.
The glitter ball. Nothing says America quite like the ball in the middle of Las Vegas. Like,
that says so much less about America. I wish that thing did not. Don't say that. That says a lot about America. They have like emojis on the outside of it. I hate it.
Dude, it says a lot about him. Dude, are you kidding? Of course it does. Like,
it's terrible. I don't like my America doesn't look like that.
Big, obnoxious, loud, unnecessary, wholly unnecessary. Yeah,
this is my United States of whatever, and I don't accept that. This that feels like some like I don't know this seems like a Red Dawn conspiracy.
Yeah,
to build a giant ball in the middle of Las Vegas.
To quote Adam Savage, I reject your reality and substitute my own. So there you go. Well, it's all right. So Humble Mumble we talked about. Again, I'm not entirely crazy about this. The next track is another interlude. I told you there was a bunch of them, kids. And then track number 17 is, well, it's just question mark. And you tell me if I'm missing something. Has this ever actually been named, or they've just always stuck with the punctuation here?
Oh man, as far as I know, it's just always been question mark.
It's not very long, 1:28. It's basically an interlude. Not a lot happening here. Andre asks the audience a series of questions about what causes the main flaws of mankind, then reveals that the answer to all these questions is alcohol. So there you go. There you go. As someone who's straight edge and never drank, I can't speak to whether or not this is true, but I've also been around my fair share of people through the years who have I've either worked with or known on a personal level that I've had the conversation that usually begins with, I swear to God, I'm never drinking again. And then I'm like, all right, well, I remember you said that. And the next weekend comes and I hear the same story the following Sunday. I'm like, all right, well. Cool.
Yeah, but the opposite effect of that is prohibition, in which
oh yeah, dude,
did not work well for America.
Did not work well. Yeah,
if we're going historically of like the folly of mankind is alcohol. No, the folly of mankind is mental health and how people utilize these things to
totally
adapt to their situations or whatever. The problem is not alcohol. The problem is which they wouldn't have known during the time of prohibition because we weren't out here talking about mental health back then. But I get what it was supposed to be, this deep, meaningful thing, which Andre does a lot of, but like it's kind of one of those ones like, really?
So you're not care for this one too much.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, maybe don't drink so much. You could just make that a song. Just call that the song. But like the broad sweeping statement of alcohol is a cancer to everyone is not necessarily true, because that's been proven during Prohibition. It's like you took away some people's outlets, and then the world got wilder.
Yeah, I mean, there is such thing as personal responsibility. However, alcoholism is very much a disease. And, once your brain's hardwired, brother, you got to have it. No matter what anybody tells you and what anybody says, it's, telling an alcoholic to put the drink down is like telling a meth head to put the meth down. It's good luck. Because
That's
it's,
true, but it's also
oof,
that goes into more of the mental health state, right? Like,
sure. Yeah.
what took you, what got you there?
What got you
Like,
there? Yeah.
what got you there? What is the underlying? Which by no means am I a professional about this, but like, you
Gotcha.
don't wake up one day and decide you're going to drink 40 beers a day or whatever, like whatever your kink might be, whether something has driven you to where you don't want to feel, and that's how you get there. It's not the substance itself is not the issue. It's there. It helps. It helps. It gives you a release from the issue, which is problematic.
Uh,
But the hard take is you take that away from an entire country, that becomes more problematic,
yep.
right? So it's the way that it's skipped over here is not a big understanding of what better ways to handle it, right? Like, so weed in the United States is a big deal as far as legality between states and states,
Mm-hmm.
like in different reasons of why it should be legal or why it shouldn't be legal. Uh, you can't do a 1 minute and 29-second song about why something is what it is or why it isn't what it is or isn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Listen, he summed it up for you, Chris. What more do you want? He summed it all up in a minute 28. Just be happy, man.
Yeah, I mean, this points to why I like Big Boy more sometimes, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, dude, some people walk around with a big hole inside of them and they're filling that hole with whatever they can get their hands on. And it's like, yeah, addressing what put the hole there, not the easiest thing for some people. And I totally get it. But yeah, you're right. It's take away, like you said, the outlet, take away, and it's 2025. They're talking about taking away porn now. I'm like, look, there's plenty of porn that's highly effing illegal. And you know what kind I'm talking about. And holy Lord, that should never exist. But dude, some porn that's not hurting anybody and it's consenting adults, and you're here to tell me that, okay, you're going to take that away, are you? Okay, well, like you said, take away alcohol, take away this, take away that, tell people they cannot have something. People are going to find a way to get something. You know that. Like, yeah, good luck. It's like telling a toddler they can't have the ice cream. That toddler will climb a chair in the kitchen, risk life and limb to get that freezer door open. Are you kidding me? Come on.
so like Texas, they just took away legalized versions of THC or weed.
Yeah.
Uh, and they're the ones worried about like the cartel. It's like, well, you just like gave them a new, like, you just increased their sales.
Totally.
So it's, it's weird. It's a weird thing to talk about, especially on a rap album.
Hey man, we talk about real life here on the show, buddy. We're educating people. Are you kidding?
Do we? We normally try to defer from political opinions.
Look, we are socially aware podcasts. I mean, we're not really a socially aware podcast. We're aware that there are social events happening, social issues.
That is
happening,
true.
but
We do have access to the internet.
yes, but yeah, you're right. We don't usually cover it too awful much here. But I've not made my political leanings secret. I'm not about to start now. So yeah, track 17 is kind of there for me. It is what it is. He said what he wanted to say. And again, I kind of think of that as an interlude.
Tom Clark 6M Podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark 6M Podcast sent you.
Track 18, Red Velvet. We're back to an actual song, 3 minutes, 52 seconds. And let's see. Basically, this track warns the audience about the dangers of being a show-off. So that's all I got. I like this track. Can't say it's one of my favorites on the album, but I do like it. Everybody's here on this. Big Boy and Andre are both on this one. It's not a bad track. Chris, what do you think about Red Velvet?
I like the track. I love the actual beat and sample. It samples Willie Hutch's "I Choose You," which is a great song. It's it's not one you would listen to the CD and talk about, but it's not a bad track.
Yeah, we kicked this thing off saying that the second batch of songs was pretty thin, buddy. We were definitely right about that. Which, by the way, I never asked you this. Do you find it interesting that among the first 12 that some of these weren't like spread out further, or like, is this just because we're listening to it with ears that hear it after the fact versus actually recording it and putting it together in the studio? Maybe.
I mean, it might be just the after the fact, right? Like, because you don't know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Like you said, Gasoline Dreams is one you thought should be released as a single.
My opinion.
Right?
I like it a lot. Yeah, I'm just reading through the lyrics of this, and I'm like, I'm not really seeing anything that's kind of jumping out at me. But yeah, it's basically just someone who's kind of flaunting, showing off. Yeah, the notes were right for sure. But yeah, nothing big. Had he not played it so flashy, ashy, when half those ends hurting and working would he be found. Yeah. Not not bad. Writing's fine, but like there again, don't know if there's anything here that, and to be fair, like you pointed out earlier, some rap songs are probably not written for us. You know what I mean? Like, and that's okay. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's the I don't know. I think other people like Red Velvet more than me, so this might be a bad example. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't dislike the song, but I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Right, I get you. So let's see. After that, we've got another interlude. Let's see. After that, we get to track 20. Almost to the finish line, kids. This is Gangsta Shh, and this is with Slim. Let's see. C-Bone, Slim Calhoun, and T-Mo. Black owned as well. I like this one better than Red Velvet for sure. It's short. It's not 4 minutes 41 seconds, but it, if you read the tracks, the verses. There's really the intro, the chorus, and one verse 2. Yeah, it's longer than I thought, but yeah, I like this one, man. I think this is one of the better ones off this last batch we're working on right now.
Yeah, it's a good song. This is also one of those, like, here's some debut artists.
Yeah.
So they give room for some other people.
Do you know anything about the folks that are on this one?
I know that I haven't heard any of their songs that they've been on.
Oh, wow. Really?
So outside of that, no, I do not know a lot about C-Bone. Looking this up, I was like, is he part of we had a discussion of Mo Thugs. I was like, is this a member of Mo Thugs that I'm unaware of?
He's part of the Dungeon family.
He is not. He's part of the Dungeon family. So probably on some Dungeon family tracks that I'm skipping on right now, but right off hand, no, I cannot tell you other things C-Bone has been on.
And I'm going to get his name wrong. It's Black owned C-Bone. So I don't want to butcher his name.
Yeah, he's credited as just C-Bone on the album, right? Like, from what I remember.
And so basically the band here is asking if we want to hear about some gangsta shh, and then proceeds to rap about it without waiting for an answer. I love these notes, are great.
Okay, he's on Tomb of Boom off of The Love Below.
Hey.
As Concrete, which was a duo. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot out here about C-Bone, other than he's born in Atlanta, so let's go.
Well, there you go. Telling you, man, you're in the music scene up there, dude.
A-Town down. He's on Kryptonite.
Music scene. Just saying. Yeah, I like this song fine. Again, I think it's one of the better ones off this last batch here.
It's also it's like they shoveled a bunch of Big Boy tracks on the last of this album.
Yeah, right?
To be fair. Like what Big Boy would have done if it was solo Big Boy doing an album.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
Which leads me to believe that Big Boy was just like, we own a studio now, let's record as much as we can. And just brought like all of the Dungeon family in.
And by the way, like there, every rapper has some, rhymes are better than others. Some you remember more easily than you do others. Big Boy never sounds like he's phoning it in, man. Is that too big of a blanket statement? He just feels like he's always working on a track. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's always in his wheelhouse. It's kind of crazy. Like, did I send you the Kate Bush Rock and Roll Induction Hall of Fame stuff?
I don't recall if you did.
So he inducted Kate Bush, the Running Up the Hill.
Yeah.
He talks about Running Up the Hill being like a huge inspiration to him as a kid. Like he's, Andre's the one that gets the big love of like the big knowledge of music and the things that he's into, or whatever. But Big Boy's no slouch either. To the point where he inducted Kate Bush into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is kind of a crazy.
That is crazy.
Like, not someone you would think would be inducting her into the Hall of Fame, but
Yeah,
it's the same kind of thing.
interesting. Yeah, you never can tell where some artists get their inspiration from, man. Yeah,
It's what kind of makes Outkast so great is like when you ask them their influences, it's never anyone you would expect
right. Yeah,
to really be their influences. And the
yeah.
hooks
That's
that they
pretty cool.
use is always, I mean, it's very much like Wu-Tang is kind of the same way.
Yeah, and it can come from anywhere. There's I always like the clip of Ozzy meeting Paul McCartney for the first time and thought the guy was going to cry because like he told Paul, "You're my hero. Like you're the reason I'm doing this." And you're like, "Oh, the Beatles, really?" But like, from Ozzy's perspective, growing up in that country and seeing these guys that made it, inspired him to take up music as it did hundreds of thousands of other bands and artists through the years, right? And then there's a clip floating around. It's been floating around for a while of Dave Grohl talking about a lot of his drums in Nirvana were inspired by the Gap band, those big drums from those bands. And I'm like, I never heard it until he said it. You know what I mean? So you never can tell, man.
Yeah, they recently fired their drummer for the old Foo Fighters,
I saw that.
John
Yeah, yeah.
Freesh from the Vandals, another
Interesting.
great punk band. We were talking on mic about punk bands.
Right.
Vandals, pretty good. Yeah, I have not heard that interview, but Gap Band, that's interesting.
Oh, dude. Well, the beginning drums of "Smells Like Teen Spirit." You remember how it goes.
Big Tom's the
Dude, it's
yeah.
then you hear what was it? "Wake Up Early in the Morning" by the Gap Band. It starts off the same way, and you're like, "Oh man, now I hear it!" Right? But like I didn't hear it at the time.
Okay,
Couldn't
I'm
put
gonna
it
have to
together.
check this out now after this.
And you mentioned punk. The Clash were like fans of Elvis, right? Like you can just never tell where it comes from, man.
Yeah, it's funny because like how much of that do we see now? You see bands that sound like other bands or that have
Hmm.
very specific influences. I'm kind of guilty of that. I have like songwriters that I write songs kind of similar to.
Hmm.
But like back in the day, like Black Sabbath, as much as they like the Beatles, they don't sound anything like the
No, no, no,
Beatles.
not at
It's
all.
just like
Yeah,
we like the Beatles, we don't want to sound like the Beatles. It's kind of weird. It's
yeah.
kind of funny in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't know to what extent, like you said, some artists you can flat out hear the inspiration versus others that it could have just been one word or one lyric or one vibe, and that's all they did, and then you can't really place where it came from. But yeah, I mean, this. You're a musician, man. Good musicians appreciate musicians. Like it, everybody's different, of course, and you're going to have different tastes, and it's all subjective. But like a musician will know if something's good or not. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from.
yeah, and like I don't know from the rap standpoint, but from like a songwriting standpoint, like I do tend to look at great songwriters and go, okay, what little pieces of this can I take away, or what can I do to be better, right? Like, so it's really funny to think about, little Antoine Patton, aka Big Boy,
Mm,
riding around on his bicycle listening to "Running Up the Hill" by Kate Bush, like,
right.
and then eventually being an outcast. It's kind of a weird, very cool, but very weird.
Yeah. And man, I was here for those years when she was out. And can I be honest with you? I didn't hear that song until Stranger Things. And that just shows you that I just wasn't plugged into Kate Bush at all. Like at all, dude. I wasn't listening to that kind of radio. I wasn't That wasn't my style of artist at the time. And then when it hit Stranger Things, everybody's talking about, oh, this is a classic and it's legendary and she's great. And I'm thinking, I don't think I know who this is. Like, I didn't want to be ignorant, but I'm like, wait, this came through. This was in my lifetime. Really? I don't even know this. I don't know the artist.
So
It's
like with
wild how that happened.
with Kate Bush, like the only reason I knew who Kate Bush was is because I like The Cure. So you go down the rabbit hole of like things
Mm,
that kind of sound like The Cure, have different tonalities of that.
mhm.
Like that was a go find. Like you're not hearing that in the South, like in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. They're not out here gonna play a Kate Bush song.
Right. No, no,
Like
no,
it's
no.
not.
Yeah.
It's even on the popular radio station, you're not gonna hear a Kate Bush song. It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
So yeah, like I was kind of in the same vein as you. At least the first time. Well, I heard Kate Bush before, but not long before the Rock and Roll Induction Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
which I think was like 2016. I probably heard her in maybe 10 years before.
Oh,
Like
wow.
so, not like a crazy gap of time. Internet made things a lot easier. You didn't grow up with the benefit of the internet of being able to to download things as easily as I did, but.
Right. Yeah. 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 I grew up with, well, the first time I laid eyes on something like that was Napster and LimeWire. So that was the best I had at the time.
Yeah, and you were like, I don't want to be 40 out here downloading Kate, but no, I'm kidding.
Right. Yeah.
I'm messing with you. But yeah, like I don't know, Kate Bush is yeah, it's just weird, but weird. And like you look at some of the bands we named that they did loops off of, it's all over the board.
Mhm.
So like Red Velvet, like I said earlier, is like it was sampled off a new wave band. Let me find the name. Now I'm slipping on it. I just had it pulled
Mm.
up in my notes. Okay, yeah, no. We Love These Hoes is sampled off the Dramatics, which is kind of like a weird, like they were all over the place. Apparently, they would just sit in the studio and listen to albums and be like, "Hey, this is cool. Let's see what we can
Mm.
do." Which I think is like how you get so many songs on this album, honestly.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Again, different sounds. Outkast were never afraid to go the different route, to be
I've
unique.
also heard that they're everlasting. Outcast is everlasting.
I like that. Yeah. So track 21, the name's a little different to be sure. Toilet Tisha. This is 4 minutes 24 seconds. And this is basically a modern day version of Brenda's Got a Baby, where Outkast tells the tale of a 14-year-old struggling with the prospects of teen pregnancy. Man, again, diverse topics happening on this album, Chris. This is uh, a fairly deep one for sure. And the themes are pretty intense. This is maybe not one you turn up real loud and tap your foot to, but there again, man, they're delving more into that side of things. It feels like in this album too, more of the deeper topics and subjects. I think.
Yeah, I agree. And this song is probably the most emotional song on the entire album. And the name, if you were just looking through the album, you're like, ugh, what is this? What is this about? It's not what you think it's about. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a very deep, emotional track. It's a great song. Probably to me the second best song off the side of the album.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I mean it's literally about abandonment and teenage health. It's the best way. I mean, the best way I can put it.
Yeah. It's ooh, yeah, man. These lyrics are intense too.
And it's almost like they named it that so it would just bypass someone giving it a hard listen
Yeah.
when the album got put out.
Yeah. It's the song does not end well
No,
at all. Yeah.
well, it's called Toilet Tisha, so
Yep. Yep. Doesn't end well. You kids can do the math, I'm sure. Yeah.
but yes,
Wow.
it is a very sad song. To me, it's probably like if you're just looking at it as a like important song or a song about like a situation. Lyrically, probably the best song, but We Love Them Hoes still.
Yeah.
Still a better song.
Such a mixed bag of stuff on here, man.
It is. It's like I said. It's like they recorded they recorded the album, and then they're like, "Well, we own our own studio now, and we still
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
time to get this to the to get this to the label. So let's just keep going."
Sure. Yeah. Well, let's see. Track 22, kids, as we move right along. This is Slum Beautiful featuring CeeLo at 4 minutes, 7 seconds. This is Big Boy and Dre going into detail to describe their Slum Beautiful mistresses. There again, it's another sort of back and forth, different topic this time. I do like the hook, actually. I think the hook really makes this stand out. And Andre's, voice on that hook, I think is everything. I think the song works. Can't say I've ever been a big CeeLo guy. Are you? Is he one of your guys or no?
I like the stuff he did with he did some tracks with Trick Daddy. I like those. It's like kind of a weird because he's more of a producer, so it's
Yeah, yeah.
Goody. I like Goody Mob. Does that count? I don't.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like Goody Mob. I don't know about like Gnarls Barkley and the other stuff. I'm not as big of a fan. I like Goody Mob a lot.
Well, if you're a Hotel Transylvania fan, he's the mummy in that movie. Those movies, right?
Yeah, he had some weird thing where he kidnapped someone and like. I wonder. I never looked up what the outcome of that was.
Oh my God! I thought you were talking about like a movie or something for a second.
No, he was accused of like sexual battery and kidnapping and.
Holy Lord!
This is back in like I don't know, like 2013, 14, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but he had some problems there for a while.
Let's see here. 2012, accused of sexual battery by a woman with whom he had dined at a Los Angeles restaurant, leading to a nearly year-long investigation. He pled not guilty to a felony charge of furnishing a controlled substance after the LADA's office declined to file a charge of rape of an intoxicated person, citing insufficient evidence. He pleaded no contest to one felony count of furnishing ecstasy and was sentenced to 3 years of probation. And then in 2014, criticized for tweets relating to his sexual battery case. And he's said and done some weird stuff.
Yeah. My favorite CeeLo use of CeeLo, I guess, song is Into Wind by Trick Daddy, which was also recorded around the same time as Stankonia at the Stankonia Studios. That's a great track.
There you go.
Also, we should do Trick Daddy. Trick Daddy doesn't get it. Gotta understand, Trick loves the kids. He never gets enough love. Trick Daddy was Thug Holiday is a great album.
He's Atlanta too, I'm guessing.
Miami, but
Miami.
A lot of his good stuff was recorded here in Atlanta, so we're gonna count it. We're gonna count it. If you recorded at Stankonia, you're by proxy Atlanta.
Yeah, I like. There's some good verses here, some good rhymes. I saw the face of God, and he looked like you and me too. Hello, I'm the man that God made for you. Profound, don't you think? Okay, let's put this poetry in motion. I like that. I mean, there's some good writing here. Again, I can't say this is one of my favorites either. I like the song. Again, I love the hook. I think the hook really makes it stand out.
I feel like every time I have a deep dive conversation with people about Outkast and we start going through actual lyrics, their love of Andre slowly starts to fade.
Really?
Yes, and this is what is happening in real time right now. Like, maybe I was wrong about Big Boy.
Well, no.
Maybe I like the bounce of Outkast.
I like a lot of what Andre does.
I do too, but I feel like that there's other rappers that do it better, and that's part of the problem.
Well, isn't it what made this act work was that there was a balance, that you had Big Boy kind of attacking the mic.
This is also the start of the balance shifting.
Yeah.
And the balance leading into Speaker Box and Love Below, the balance being completely not the balance.
Yeah, that's fair.
It depends on how you look at it.
Right. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to watch it happen in real time too, as you said.
Also, big words don't necessarily mean good rap verses.
Yeah. Man, I know you're just going to be such a downer here. Jeez.
I am. I'm going to be a downer. Like, there's some things I'm going to be a downer about because Andre has made me that way.
Oh, I see. Oh, there you go.
As an Outkast fan, I was like, "You greatest tag team of all time." You want your solo run, Marty Jannetty? Calm down.
Yeah. Dang, Marty. Dude, how many times as a wrestling fan did you find yourself reading a headline going, oh, dang, Marty again? Like,
That's unfair. Andre is not Marty, but
no, I get it. I know yeah, I get it. But still, like, and then you hear Marty in interviews in the past few years, you're like, oh, God, Marty, yeah, it's over. It's over. Like, you just kind of look around the room as if someone's there. It's over. Yeah. Marty's gone. He's out. Yeah.
you're gonna have the benefit of when this comes out as the only person that's ever been more of a big boy guy than an Andre guy, because every other podcast, man, they need to put on some knee pads, as Big Boy would say about how much they love Andre.
Well, all right, listen. Big Boy's great. But go back in time. Had they not hooked up, would Big Boy have succeeded on his own? The answer is yes, more than likely. Would it have taken longer? Maybe. Would Andre have succeeded on his own? I don't know.
I don't want that to be a question. I just want someone to stay in the keep making good music with the partner you had.
Yeah.
4 great albums.
I'm just thinking like they just complimented each other.
Don't be so disgusted about what you did. Like, don't, a little bit of leeway for the rap game.
They just compliment each other so well, man. That's what I mean. Like I think that's why it got over as much as it did, because it was unique, but technically they were sound because of Big Boy, but they were unique and creative because of Andre. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's what made it work.
Hopefully Big Boy listens to this podcast and he's like, you know what? He's right.
Well, I'm sure it'll happen.
No. I mean, I love Andre. Andre is a huge part of Outkast, very important to Outkast. But like there's this theology out there online or ideology of Andre is the best rapper in Outkast, and I would debate.
No, I don't.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think he is very intelligent and structures some good verses. But Big Boy is the rapper that makes the song stick, as we've seen going through the rest of this album versus the beginning of this album.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that. Big Boy is awesome. Like, there's really no other way to say it. I mean, there's other compliments you can give the guy, but he is fantastic. And like I said earlier, he's always on point. I don't know if I could say that about every rapper I've ever heard, where everything I hear them do, it sounds like the guy is working overtime, rolled his sleeves up, and got busy and stayed in the studio for 12 hours on one song, because it sounds like he's just, and that's not an insult. You know what I mean? That's a compliment. Like, he's there to work. Like, everybody can keep screwing around. I'm here to work. Let's do this. Like, that's just, when I hear him, that's what I hear, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, I also love Andre. This is not an I hate Andre podcast.
No, I get it. You're a hater. It's fine. You just be honest, you know?
No, it's just stop playing flute.
Listen, Andre. Listen, Andre. Can I call you Andre? Listen, Andre, for God's sake, put the flute down, Andre. Okay?
Put the flute down, sir.
Put the flute down. Put it back in the case.
Can we go back pre Four Brothers? Andre?
Yes.
Please,
Please,
really
Andre.
what I'm looking for as an Outkast.
Mr. 3000. Can I call you Mr. 3000? Please, for God's sake.
Now I'm getting into the territory of being Jerry Reed. Can I call you Mr. 3000?
Oh, that's fun. Well, kids, we got 2 more here. 23 is the interlude, and we have basically given you no information on interlude. You got ears. You know how to hit play or skip, don't you? But prenup is hilarious. I'm here for it. It's 27 seconds, but I love it. And it's, there's not much to talk about, but it makes me smile every time I hear it. But yeah, we've got that and one more. And I was lied to you kids earlier. This is the longest track on the album, 6 minutes, 51 seconds. This is Stankonia featuring Big Rube and Sleepy Brown, also known as Stank Love.
Sleepy Brown got some problems out here. With the whole Puff Daddy thing and some other things before that ever happened. But yeah, Sleepy Brown's the guy who used to dance around with the umbrella, for those unaware of Sleepy Brown.
Don't sleep on Sleepy Brown, pal, I'll tell you.
Pal. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's fitting.
Oh, I'm saying this. So this is a love ballad, if you want to call it that. Closes out the album, features assorted members of the Dungeon family before finally into fading into nothing but Stankonia. I don't love this track. I kind of feel like we started out hard with Gasoline Dreams. I kind of feel like we went out with a whimper. That's just kind of how I hear it. What do you think about this to close out the entire album here?
I mean, I think instrumentationally and musically, this is a cool track.
Hmm.
There's some decent lyrics on it. It's nowhere near the top of this album, but it's not at the bottom either.
It's not the bottom for sure. Yeah, I like the sound, but I'm just not really hitting me like the others did. You know.
Well, I mean, there's 4 radio hits on the first.
Well, that's true.
So it's kinda, they should have kept it short and sweet, like Van Halen, and then all the hits are the hits.
Yeah, I was
power through the album.
talking to somebody in the gym this morning about that because I have a Zeppelin shirt on, and he was asking me my favorite Zeppelin songs. I'm like, that's just too hard. Like it's too hard. And then we talked about the first album, how like you hear the first Zeppelin album, you're like, okay, where'd this come from? Like, oh my God. I said, well, the first Van Halen album, and we talked about some other things. Like, this is out the gate, like just impressive stuff.
I mean, this goes back to what we've talked about on the wrestling podcast a lot. Would you rather have everyone gets a turn, 18 matches, or would you rather have 5 good matches?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they gave you everyone gets a turn on this album,
Mm-hmm.
including some people we've never heard of. Some of them went on to great careers, like Killer Mike.
Mhm.
Run the Jewels, great, right? Without this album, you may never get Run the Jewels. So it's very important in that standpoint of rap. But yeah, like you could cut some stuff out of this album.
I think so.
I love
totally-
my measuring stick is still Van Halen. The single Van Halen, and we've done this. It's in the archives, pal, as Tom would say. Is the perfect album because it is just every song on it is dead perfect. You could maybe switch 1 or 2 around in the format, but outside of that, there's nothing. You would never hit the skip button. You just listen to that thing all the way through. It's brilliant. And
Great.
for the first 12 tracks here, if you take out the interludes, wow, what an album!
What an album!
So they got there, but we're gonna. I mean, that gets in the weeds because none of the rest of the songs are bad either. So just depends on how much of a stickler you are for listening to a whole album. I feel like no one listens to whole albums anymore, though. To be fair.
I think you're right. It's more about the singles now. That's what a lot of musicians are complaining about and pointing out left and right now. It's not even about the album like it used to be. It's kind of a shame, man, that we lost that. But yeah, singles rule the day. Well, kids, there you have it. There's Stankonia, side 2. We got the whole album there for you. Now you can go back and listen to part 1. You can listen to this one right afterward, and you got the whole album. And since we know everything, this is the definitive take. You don't need to listen to anybody else. No, it's some of the songs that maybe me and Chris didn't love. I guarantee you somebody out there loves these songs. I guarantee somebody out there is playing Slum Beautiful right now. I guarantee it. Because you can't, it's all subjective, man. That's the great thing about music, about entertainment, books, movies, streamers, poetry, you name it. Like it's what you hate, the guy next to you made love. What you think is a terrible song, that's what his wife came down the aisle to. Like you just never know. Like, just Chris, I think a lot of this, of course, as you know, it's just the way it hits you on a certain day. Like there's songs that I've connected to and been part of the fabric sort of my life because of milestones, because of family members who maybe have passed, and because of romances through the years, and then you like never forget those tracks. That's what makes music great, man. Not the soapbox, but to me, I think that's why this stuff's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you on that. Talking about this album specifically, if you want a tight 60-minute album for your workout, AT Aliens. That's it. You want an Outkast album, tight 60 minutes? My favorite Outkast album, AT Aliens. This is the most important Outkast album because this is the one that got them over with the mass population. Bombs Over
Mm.
Baghdad, Fresh and So Clean. This is the one where they actually got their hits out, so it's super important. Um, on they bought their own record studio. You get away from LA Face Records a little bit. You get some more explorative stuff with Andre. If you're
Mm-hmm.
really into Speaker Box's Love Below or Idlewild, this is your album because it's the beginning of that, really.
Mm-hmm.
Though you could go back to like even stuff on AT Aliens and be like, oh, okay, well, it was always there. Um, but it was more balanced. So you get a little bit of that. But like with AT Aliens, for instance, you get AT Aliens, you get Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac, Wheels of Steel, Elevators.
Yeah.
Jezebel, great album. That's the one I would recommend to go bounce to. Really, like if you're riding around Atlanta, put that one on. No one will be if you're an Uber driver in Atlanta, throw that on. No one will be disappointed. They'll all they'll all love you.
Well, I'll
But
put it this way: Bombs Over Baghdad's on my workout playlist as we speak.
it should be.
Yeah.
And I still, since we last talked on the previous, we split this. I have not found a song that has that much hype to it, like beat wise, rhythm wise, like
great.
the speed of it, like the Radar Love feel of like I'm gonna speed and I shouldn't speed, or the Ace of Spades kind of like just vibe the music gives you.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't found the closest one I found to is I'm trying to
Back that A up.
yeah, by Juvenile. There's something about that do 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 into the very fast paced beat. Yeah, that one will get you there too. But there's very few and far between of what Bombs Over Baghdad does. This is an absolute great album. 4.5 in the source, the highest rated album in the source. Over
Wow.
Marshall Matters, over Nelly, over Ja Rule. We talked about that in the last episode. So if you're just hearing this one, go back and listen. The last one was more interesting because we dove more into the band. But yeah, this is a great album. And if anything, it gave you 3 to 4 classic tracks that will live throughout the entire history of rap. I still don't think anyone's ever touched Bombs Over Baghdad for what it is. There is something very special about that song.
I agree. Well, this album is legendary. I mean, it's great song, great album. Well, kids, there you have it. There's Stankonia, and we hope you like this one. Keep your fingers crossed. Maybe at the Hall of Fame induction, we'll see these guys perform together. Hopefully, they will. We'll all find out together. Chris, before we get out of here, let's get your last word on Stankonia.
I would have gave it 5 mics in the source.
Ah, well done. Yeah, it's like we said, it's classic, man. And if you're a rap fan, even if you're not, if you're a fan of music, if you're a fan of legendary acts, then this album's for you. Hard to top it. And maybe there's definitely been better albums, but in terms of what it did for its time and how it helped put this band on the map. And look, not for nothing, as we said, you're starting to see the sort of the divide to some extent of where these guys end up later, which, it's not the end of the world, everybody. Both these guys seem to be well-adjusted dudes after having toured the world and, lived that lifestyle. They both seem to be very cool guys and just normal dudes and, healthy and happy and just living life. So, again, some of these acts don't have such great endings. So
it is the end of the world for what was Southern hip hop at that time.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
You get more of the takeover with trap music, Future, 2 Chainz, both great.
Yeah.
I would be down to talk about 2 Chainz or Future. Childish Gambino, for instance, all spun off, but they all spun off because of Outkast. And that's the beauty, right? Kendrick Lamar, Outkast, that's the beautiful thing.
Laying the groundwork, kids. That's what we're talking about. And paving the way for artists to come afterward. Well, kids, I guarantee you we're not done talking about Outkast. So be on the lookout for more material where we review those albums and talk more about the act as we go. And as we said, stay tuned for that and a whole lot more. But for now, that is Stankonia.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at 6M Podcast. We'll see you next time.